Welcome to the official press conference ahead of the highly anticipated Louis Vuitton Cup final here in Barcelona. My name is Jesse Duke and it's my pleasure to be hosting this press conference today. We come to you from the heart of the 37th America's Cup here in Barcelona, and we're well and truly now in the pointy end of the competition. Tomorrow, two juggernauts of the America's Cup, Ineos Britannia from Great Britain and Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli from Italy, face off. Both teams are fueled by a dream, a pretty simple dream, to bring the America's Cup to their country for the first time in their history. But they stand in the way of each other and face off tomorrow in an epic showdown for a chance to challenge for the Louis Vuitton Cup, for the Louis Vuitton America's Cup against defenders Emirates Team New Zealand. But first, they must win this trophy, the Louis Vuitton Cup. These two teams, it's fair to say, have delivered some of the closest racing in the competition so far, trading blows through the qualifiers, and it feels like it's been the matchup of the Cup. A great rivalry is brewing, and we're about to see them go head-to-head in a series that no one can pick which way it's going to go. The rivalry is taking shape off the water as well. The race village and fan zones over the last few weeks have been packed out with fans of Luna Rossa and fans of Ineos Britannia. It's created an incredible atmosphere that's only set to get better. So here we go. It's Ineos Britannia for Great Britain, Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli for Italy, but there can be only one challenger, and tomorrow the battle begins. Here we go.
The Louis Vuitton Cup final's got huge provenance in the sport of sailing. Just making it that far for any team is a great achievement, but we want more.
The Louis Vuitton final is something fantastic because it gives you the possibility to aspire to be in the America's Cup.
It's the magic of Luna Rossa. I cannot tell you the secret.
Catching him on attack, eh? Oh! Keep it simple, one and in here. Not taking this.
Pushing, boys, pushing.
Nice work, guys. Solid.
Arigato, boys. Bye!
There we go. So just a quick rundown on how the Louis Vuitton Cup final will work. There will be two scheduled races per day. The Louis Vuitton Cup final is a best of 13 race series, with the first team to score 7 points advancing to the America's Cup match against Emirates Team New Zealand. Well, it's time to meet the two teams fighting for that chance. Please welcome, first up, the challenger of record, Ineos Britannia, with skipper and CEO Sir Ben Ainslie and helmsman Dylan Fletcher. And from Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, helmsman Jimmy Spittle and also helmsman Francesco Bruni. Well, I think we should just take a moment, a very special moment in any America's Cup, that we've got two finalists here battling for this incredible trophy, the Louis Vuitton Cup. A trophy that's had a rich history with the America's Cup all the way back to 1983. It's really synonymous with the America's Cup, and to challenge for the America's Cup, first you must win the Louis Vuitton Cup, and that's what we're about to begin tomorrow. So Ben, I guess my question to you first, what does this trophy sitting next to you represent, and you're about to start fighting for it tomorrow?
Well, the Louis Vuitton Cup has huge history in the America's Cup. We all know, as a challenger, if you're going to get to the Cup, first of all, you've got to get this trophy in your locker room. So that's what we're all fighting for, and I think it's a great opportunity for both of our teams, and we're really excited about the prospect of what's ahead.
And There's a brilliant and quite brutal poetry that both Italy and Great Britain haven't yet won the America's Cup. For one of you, at the end of this final series, that drought will continue, and for the other, that dream will be one step closer. Ben, how does that drive you?
Well, it's a huge motivation. We all know the history of the America's Cup. For us, we're a very proud maritime nation. America's Cup technically started in British waters around the Isle of Wight, and very famously, we've never seen it since. So this is the motivation for our team.
And what about you, Jimmy? How hungry is the team amongst the walls of Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli right now?
Yeah, really hungry. You know, I mean, obviously, Keko can speak much more on, you know, the culture and the history of Italy, but certainly what I've learned, having been embraced by it over the years, is there is a real attachment to the ocean and to the water, and especially the America's Cup. You know, you just see that with the fans. We see that throughout all of our team and all the way up to the ownership group. So, yeah, it's something we'd love to do, and it's why we do come in every day and put in the long hours.
Okay, Jimmy mentioned it there. What does it mean to you?
Well, we all know that in Italy, the America's Cup is a dream, and we've been chasing that dream for many years, even before I was born. And yeah, I mean, we have a chance now, and we have to use this bullet.
Dylan, a question for you. Has it sunk in what's happening in your sailing career right now? I mean, you're sitting here next to these guys, next to the Louis Vuitton Cup. Biggest moment of your sailing career, it feels.
Yeah, it's fantastic to be sailing with Ineos and sitting alongside Ben. The team have done a really good job of sort of helping me along and learning the match racing, and I think ultimately just a lot of hard work. And from our shore team, it's fantastic to see the effort they're putting in and how far we're progressing through this cup, and it just feels like we're building momentum.
How are the nerves ahead of tomorrow?
Yeah, they're up there, but I absolutely love it out there and really enjoy the opportunity that we've got on offer.
Okay, Ben, a question for you. The regatta director requires that Ineos Britannia, as the top place challenger in the round-robin stages, chooses their side of entry for the match going tomorrow. So can you just talk us through, I guess, the pros and cons of having the right to make that decision of which side you're going to choose tomorrow, and then just finish with giving us what side you'll choose?
Yeah, I mean, at the port entry boat gets to start 10 seconds earlier, so normally what happens if both boats get their timing right, the port tack boat will cross ahead, and it's kind of a little bit condition dependent. There's lots of nuances there, and I think everyone's got their own opinion about which is favoured, but for us, we'd take the starboard end.
Thank you. Jimmy, I mean, you've raced the Ineos Britannia team 4 times now. You've split the differences with two races apiece. Obviously, they won those last 2 races against you guys. How close, though, overall is this matchup?
Oh, it's incredible. I mean, look, we just came from a very, very tough semi-final series where we had what I believe were 2 evenly matched teams with the Americans. The Brits have done a great job. I mean, I think the jump they've made from, let's say, the prelim regatta to where they are now, clearly have taken a big step up. And, yeah, I expect a fight. It is 2 very, very evenly matched teams going at it, and that's what you want. I mean, we want to send the challenger into that cup final against the Kiwis well prepared to get the job done.
Francesco, Jimmy touched on it there about that tough matchup against American Magic. We saw the emotion just pouring out of you when you crossed the line. I mean, what did that mean? And I guess, was it a weight off the shoulders that they were coming back at you in that one?
Well, it definitely was. We cannot hide it. They were growing up, and we had a few hard moments, especially with the breakdown of the boat the day before. So, yeah, we felt the pressure, but we were nice and composed on the last race, and I'm very proud with all the teamwork, starting from the shore team to the sailing team. Everybody was on the goal, and we achieved the goal.
And looking ahead, this is probably a question for both of you. Conditions tomorrow, for anyone that doesn't know, can you give us a bit of an insight into how good day 1 is going to be of the Louis Vuitton Cup finals? Have you checked the forecast?
Yeah, it looks good. Looks really good. I mean, top end, potentially. There's a little bit of uncertainty in just how much wind and how big the sea state, but currently looks good for racing, so it should be all on.
Who do you think that plays in favour to?
I honestly don't know. I mean, as Jimmy said, it's 2 pretty evenly matched teams, we think. It's going to be a really amazing final. And again, I think whichever team goes through is going to be much battle-hardened to go through to the Cup and have a good crack at the Kiwis.
We'll open it up to the floor now. Just a reminder, put your hand up. We'll have plenty of time for questions. State your name and organisation, if you don't mind. Thank you. Yeah, question down here to start.
Michele Tognozzi, Farevela. Question for Keiko and Ben. What will be the key factor in this Louis Vuitton Cup final for you? Both speed, human factor, tactics. What will be the key factor?
Well, I think it's going to be important to put down your best performance. If we give the best performance we can, we're going to win. If not, we're going to lose. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I think it's sport. That's the beauty of sport. It's about everything. It's about human element. It's about the technology in the America's Cup, the performance. It's about the manoeuvring, the starting. That's the complexity of this challenge of the America's Cup. I guess it's why we love it.
Tatiana Pocconi, German news agency and Yacht magazine. In soccer, when it comes down to penalty shootout, players will have studied the goalkeeper's movements and the other way round. How much did you do that with your opponent? How did you do it, and how does it play into your own strategies and tactics? Both teams, please.
Yeah, the answer is yes, we do. We really study our opponents. You know, the semi-finals, we spent a heap of time, our coaching staff, support team, and really going through any sort of tendencies, and I'd assume that both teams have really done the same in this scenario. But at the end of the day, the racing is kind of developing as we go through this competition in terms of if we look at, you know, let's say the starting or some of the manoeuvres or the tactics in the prelims to where it is now, it's like another game. So this high level and what we're seeing with the teams, it's kind of changing day by day in that we're almost seeing new moves and new tactics. And I expect that to be the same as we go through this finals.
Anyone up that side?
Mark Reed, Latitude 38. Checo, what's the best attribute that Jimmy has that brings to your team, and vice versa? Jimmy, what's the best thing that Checo brings to your team?
You're Italian? Yeah, he's Italian. He's top. Probably his determination, really looking at the goal and don't looking around too much, just spotting the goal and getting there.
I mean, Checo is one of the best sailors in the world. You look at his record. I've learned a lot by sailing with him. He brings a lot of energy into the team. And, I mean, look, it's been an absolute privilege, really, to do the past campaign with him, and now we get another shot. So this time we want to go one further. But, it's just, I think that one of the best things about the America's Cup are the relationships you build. And, you go through some good times, but you go through some tough times too. And we both certainly feel this semi-final series, we really made some good gains.
Matt Sheehan, Planet Sail. It's a question for both, and I guess Jimmy and Ben. Given where we are now, and we've had a month and a bit to see what the conditions are like here, we've seen the racing, we've got a bit of a handle on it. I just wonder what each of you think is the biggest challenge going forward now. Is it the weather, is it the sea state, or is it the rate at which the other team has developed? Jimmy, start with you.
I was only half listening, sorry.
You always do that.
I think it's going to be all of the above, Matt. You have a crack, mate.
Oh, you want me to help you out again?
Yeah, thank you.
Right, okay. I think, Jimmy's right, all of the above, but conditions...
Oh, thanks.
Conditions are tricky. Here we know that. You're spot on, Matt. Changeable every day. Sometimes strong winds, flat water. Sometimes light airs, bumpy seas. So that, and obviously the competitor, and hugely experienced team. We've got a massive amount of respect for Luna Rossa, Prada, Pirelli. So Mother Nature and the Italians. That's what we're up against.
Todd Nile from Stuff. For Jimmy and for Ben, you have long histories together and against each other. Is it going to be hard to surprise the other, or have you delegated that job to someone else?
Okay, I'll go first this time. Yeah, we've raced against each other a lot and raced with each other. And again, at least from my side, I'm not sure about his, huge amount of respect. We get on pretty well. But when we're out on the race course, of course, we're with our teams and we want to win. And also, you know, Dylan and Keko are here, and there's a much wider team behind us in both of our camps that are making a huge amount of effort behind the scenes to get the boat on the water, to operate and of course, sail and race the boat. So it's a huge team effort, the America's Cup, and I think we rely heavily on that team behind us.
Pietro Rossani from La Vanguardia. My questions are for both. What do you admire most about your rival? And what the ownership tells you before the final, Bertelli and Ratcliffe? Is there any special message they leave to you?
Yeah, well, I think what you admire about your rivals, I think their professionalism, the history in the sport for both Keko and Jimmy. I mean, Keko and I, we raced against each other 96 Olympics in the laser class, so go back a long way. And Jimmy with the match racing and, again, racing against and with one another. And I think they're both consummate professionals in the sport, and that's why they've had such a long and successful history in the sport. And those rivalries are great. That's why you compete. You want to be going up against the best in the world, be that as sailors or the technology behind these boats. It's an incredible journey.
From behind as
well. The question is for Dylan. Dylan, you are the Olympic champion, world champion, European champion. Your first America's Cup is the young member of the Stars, these Stars. What is the special feeling in competition? White Ben, Francesco, Spittil, some veterans of America's Cup 21, America's Cup in the free.
Yeah, I guess sailing against, the others are absolutely fantastic. I mean, I think a lot of people here won Worlds and Europeans and America's Cups and Olympic medals. And I guess just very happy to be part of this team. And as we've seen with the youth of the past days, they've been doing an absolute fantastic job. Really proud of our APP sailors coming in third yesterday. And I think it shows testament to the future. And also, obviously, the Italians are racing tomorrow and they've done a fantastic job. So I think this cup's shown that the youth of tomorrow are going to be doing a fantastic job in the future.
Paul Streletsky, International Boat Industry. Question for both teams. What are your plans for the rest of today? Are you hitting the beach, going to the gym, meditating? What are both teams doing for the rest of the day? Or the pub, as Magnus just repeated.
Yeah, Luna Rossa Pirelli is going sailing in 1 hour. Forecast is for light conditions today, but we have seen the forecast struggling last week, so we are kind of ready for everything. But yeah, potentially some light wind sailing that could become good on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, we'll be out on the water as well.
Hola, Albert Pedrol de RAC1. First of all, congratulations for making it to the Louis Vuitton Cup final, both teams. My question is for Ben and Jimmy. Britannia and Luna Rossa have never won the America's Cup. Is it a motivation or more of a pressure? And somehow, do you feel like you owe the trophy to both countries, Great Britain and Italy? Thank you.
Your turn.
Well, I think pressure is a privilege. you know, to be in a position like this. We certainly feel a lot of excitement and good energy. So we don't feel it as a burden. We actually feel it as a motivating factor for the entire team. I mean, I know, you know, we were talking about the fans, and you just see it. I mean, any sailing competition you go to, there are more Italian fans than any other. So, yeah, that we really try and use as a, you know, as a competitive advantage, and it's part of the dream that, you know, individually a lot of our team members have, but also collectively why we do it, because we just know how special it would be.
Yeah, it's the motivation. Really, it is. We talked about the maritime history in the UK. In fact, we've never won the cup. It started in our patch, if you like, on our waters. That's why we're here, and it takes a lot of time. It takes a huge amount of teamwork to pull together the expertise, the intellectual property, and get the experience. And you've seen Luna Rossa been in the game, 25 years or more now. Max Serena used to have some hair back in the day. But he's still going, and they're doing a great job. We've been going for 10 years with our team, and it takes that time to build it up. But we're both maturing a lot as organisations, and I think chasing after the elusive Kiwis and trying to hunt them down.
Shirley Robertson, ACTV. A question for Dylan. Dylan, it is your first cup, and when you look on the stage, I mean, Jimmy, this is his 8th. Ben, he's not far behind that. Not quite added that up yet. But a two-part question, really. Your first time inside an America's Cup team, what is the intensity, what is the confidence level within Ineos Britannia? And for you, for your first cup, what would it mean to pull off something very special here?
I think the team's just been building through the whole cycle. We obviously, you know, from the start had our head down with T6 and developing that to make Britannia fast, and maybe a slightly different approach to some of the other teams, and feels as though the momentum's building within the team. As far as being, you know, my first cup, it's always been a lifelong dream to be part of a British America's Cup team. So to be sat here in a, you know, position where we are challenging the in the final, and I think we've got definitely the legs to go all the way.
There's one on the far side as well here.
Hello, good morning. Francesc Soria from Catalonia Television, from TV3, Televisió de Catalunya. Do you have any message for your supporters that are coming last days, last hours to see the competition in front of you in the beach of Barcelona or in the fan zones for both teams, please?
Yeah, keep dreaming with us. That's what we really need. We need the push from the Italian fans, and they've always been with us, and they have to still be close. We have to win together.
Yeah, just really, really grateful of all of our fans and family that have been supporting us the whole way, and it's great to see them at the dock off and in the race village, and we hope we'll do you proud over the next week.
It's time for one or two more. Yeah, one up top and then...
Peter Eisler, Sailing World Magazine. Question for both teams. The weather. We've seen in the race course and tactics that sometimes it's not the first time you hit the wall or the boundary or the second time, but a lot of times that there is a point on one of the upwind or downwind legs where a wind shift or a puff or a lull really makes the difference in the race course. How has the weather team changed in the past cups, and how do you guys as sailors on the boat, when you get that last call, when you have all sorts of information going through your head as you're about to enter, how does that feed into it in the short course? I hear you talking a lot on the broadcast. Thanks, Shirley and everybody, for, you know, how much you're using short course eyes open sailing, but is the weather team helping?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a couple of races we could have done with your support on the back of the boat, Pete, but it's been a while since we last sailed together. Yeah, it's a big challenge. You're right. The conditions here are really difficult. the wind on the water is tough to read, and sometimes the confused sea state doesn't really help with that. So it's a really challenging venue. So we rely on our weather team. They're obviously looking at the different forecasts coming through and the different weather models that are for the region and more directly focused on Barcelona, and then just the observations that you see on the water before the race. And it's obviously not just the direction that we take on the race course, but just as critically the sail selection choices that we make, be that on mainsails or the headsails. Most teams have 4 or 5 different headsails that they're going to make a decision on, and getting that right is pretty tricky here.
Matt here in Planet Sail. Question for both teams again. You were both here last time in this position. I just wonder how different it feels this time, and if so, why? Jimmy, were you listening?
Yeah, it's interesting because last time we faced New York Yacht Club, American Magic in the semis, and then we came through when we met Ben and the Brits, and here we are again. But I think we've seen quite a big jump here in terms of the class of boat, but also just how much more all the teams are much closer, in my view. I think last time we really saw teams geared towards certain conditions, and we saw the Defender, I believe, a long way ahead of the challengers. Now I think everyone is much closer, given where we are. So, yeah, that can only mean great racing, and it really is opened it all up.
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, last time in the Challenger final, really, Luna Rossa sailed a great series, but in certain conditions, they definitely had the legs on us, and we feel we're much more competitive across the wind range going into this series, but it will be what we want it to be. It'll come down to the sailing teams in pretty evenly matched boats, depending on the conditions, and also whichever team gets through, they're going to have had, one hell of a fight and be up for the next fight.
Just got one more down here.
Tatjana Vuitton, Yacht Magazine. One on the fun side. Who of you is superstitious and cannot have XYZ on the boat whilst racing?
Any superstitions out there?
I don't think there's anything from our side. I know Jimmy's got a couple. Including his Red Bull can.
Yeah. I usually like to get a hug off Ben before I race. No, I haven't got any. Keko?
No. I'm one of the few Italians without that problem. Because it's a problem. For my wife, it's a problem. She's super superstitious.
Well, if you ask the French, you can't have green on the boat, you can't have rabbits on the boat. So
she's into it.
Oh, nice. I think we'll wrap the questions up on that note. The teams have a big day ahead of them, and it gets even bigger tomorrow with the start of the Louis Vuitton Cup final. We've got racing from 2 p.m. local time. Great press conference. Good luck to both Ineos Britannia, Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli. Thank you all to everyone here for coming, to our hosts and partners once again. Bring on the racing tomorrow. Good luck.
Thank you.